Hello, race fans, and welcome to Disc Golf Daily. It is Thursday, June 6th. Stay tuned after the news for the United Rankings of Disc Golf, and yes, there was another change at the top. We are the podcast that gets you caught up with disc golf news and growth in about 10 minutes. Here we go. Our first story of the day, what happened to Anthony Barela? He is still one of the top players in the game. When he is on, he can beat anyone. However, he is currently not on, and his trajectory is headed in the wrong direction. Let's compare his season stats to his Jonesboro stats, the last event that he won. Fairway hits, 5% worse. C1 in regulation, 10% worse. C2 in regulation, 13% worse. Birdie percentage is obviously going to drop off also, but only by 7%. His scramble rate is 30 points off Jonesboro. He's actually improved his putting over what he did at Jonesboro, hitting 85% from C1X and 35% from C2 for 20th and 8th overall in his putting stats. Anthony has apparently lost his drive, and I wonder if he's also lost his drive. It has got to be tough to be everybody's darling, and then 2 months later you're basically forgotten while everybody wants to talk about Paige and Emily and Sophia on the women's side and Calvin and Gannon and Ricky on the men's side. We are only halfway through the season, but as Statmando points out, here are AB's last 6 finishes, each one worse than the previous. Jonesboro, 1st. Music City, 7th. PDGA Champions Cup, 10th. Dynamic Disc Open, 14th. OTB, 18th. Portland, 44th. Anthony, we love you. We love watching you throw the disc. We can't wait to see you get your groove back and challenge for all of these events. Our number 2 news story of the day, the Upshot, player health insurance. Paige Pierce was on the Upshot, and they covered some great topics. I highly recommend checking out the full interview, link in the show notes. One topic they touched on was the costs of her injury. Thank you to Paige for being so open about this. The event had not yet started, so the PDGA event insurance did not come into play. Her personal health insurance covered $80. The total bill was over $75,000. PDGA insurance eventually did reimburse her for $25,000, thank goodness. This reimbursement process, as we live in America, was obviously lengthy and complex. She emphasized the financial strain it caused and advocated for better insurance policies for athletes. Additionally, she talked about the challenges, quote, independent contractors face in obtaining health insurance and suggested the formation of a union to provide better support and coverage for pro disc golfers. Pro disc golf will never stop finding things to spend money on, and there needs to be a plan in place for how players get compensated as things continue to grow. Would it be better to have purses go down by 10% and put all of that money into a health insurance bin for our tour card holders? Maybe. Paul Ulibarri advocated for this at our very first meeting about the Pro Tour in 2015 at the Las Vegas Challenge. He was right then, and he is right now. The difference? There's a bit more money now, so perhaps it's time to put a plan in place to develop health insurance for the players. I'm not arguing that we have the money to do this now. I'm arguing we need to put a plan in place so that we can set this money aside as it gets developed. Our number 3 news story of the day, Beaver State Fling preview. The Beaver State Fling was started in 2002 by Chris and Teresa Bellinger. That first year, they had 75 players, an $875 payout, and a lot of happy campers. They had big plans. 3 years later, they had grown the event into a national tour event with 91 players and a nearly $14,000 payout, which was a lot for 2005. In 2009, Jeff Mitty took over as TD, and in 2012, he was officially joined by TD Jeff Haggerty. Together, the Jeffs would nurture the event all the way to COVID. Between COVID, floods, and park development, the event was canceled 2 years in a row, and there were serious questions as to if and how it would come back. In 2022, Jesse Tomino took the reins and proved that the Beaver State Fling wasn't going anywhere but up. I did no research, well, I did a little research, but I did no research into Jesse Tomino or Madison Tomino, who also lives in Portland, Oregon. And Madison just won the PDGA TD of the Year award. I expect Jesse gets a lot of help from Madison, and likewise, hopefully she gets help from him. And actually, I'm presuming that Jesse is a male. I should have looked that up at the very least. We likely need to tap the knowledge in that family and make a ton more great event TDs. Interestingly enough, my wife's name is Jessie. Anyway, in 2022, there were 134 players and $35,000 in payout. In 2023, 156 players and $44,000 in payout. This, along with investments in mobile wireless networks made by the Pro Tour, made the addition of the Beaver State Fling to the Pro Tour an easy and happy decision, I expect. This weekend, we get to enjoy one of disc golf's greatest courses thanks to the hard work of hundreds of people, and it all started as an idea in Chris and Teresa Bellinger's hearts. Thank you both for creating a wondrous event for the rest of us to enjoy. If my math is right, this is the 20th Beaver State Fling. Now it's time for the United Rankings of Disc Golf. All right, on the men's side of the United Rankings of Disc Golf. So this is the Disc Golf Rankings where we take the Disc Golf Daily rankings, we combine them with the Statmando rankings, the Statmando Power rankings, and the PDGA ratings and rankings, as well as the Pro Tour standings. We put them all together, and we figure out once and for all who is the best disc golfer in the world right now. And the answer is Gannon Buhr. He's got 105 points. Calvin Heimberg has 90, and Anthony and Ricky are tied for third place. That makes sense, although I suspect Anthony's on his way down and Ricky's just always in the top three. On the women's side, Kristen Tatar has 100 points and leads. Owen and Evelina are actually tied for second. Missy and Holland round out fourth and fifth. On the men's side, Nicholas rounds out fifth. All right, and let's close it out with some fun stats. Who gained the most on the men's side? We have Eagle gaining 10 spots, moving up to 16th on the men's side. Corey Ellis and Casey White also made some moves. And on the women's side, Paige Pierce moves up 6 spots. She is now ranked in the top 20 once again at 18th. Welcome back, Paige. That does it for us today. If you have any thoughts, news, or opinions, please shoot us an email at discgolfdaily@aol.com. And as usual, have fun, throw them straight, and hit the thin gap.